played footy. I don't have any memorabilia up, and I separate me, the player, that career, with me, the dad. I'm dad. I'm not the footballer and all that sort of thing. And I've made that sort of separation. The kids sort of, hear off their mates and they see a bit of footage, and it's interesting. Sometimes, when they were younger, the boys would be watching the TV with footy, and the old games would come on, and then they'd go, Dad, they'd be screaming and yelling, and I'd be upstairs and I'd run down thinking one of the kids had got hurt, and they go, oh, you were just on TV, And then I started thinking about it, and the boys started getting into footy, especially Josh, and Cole said to me one night, he's really getting into footy, and I didn't have a lot of videos and that, but Channel 10, when I started doing the commentary, Cole asked Channel 10 if they could do a nice compilation of goals and highlights. So they did that for us, which a mate of mine wrecked. But anyway, cut a long story short, I had this tape, and so Cole said to me one day, look, he's really getting into the footy, and I think he's getting interested in seeing some stuff on you. Why don't you show him? And I thought, I might give him a bit of thrill. Yeah, why not? So I took him upstairs and come on, mate, Dad's going to show you some highlights when I used to play. And he goes, yeah, all right, Dad. He looked really interested. So we sat down, I put the DVD in. I reckon it went, and it was me kicking some goals and highlights and all that. And so after about 2 minutes, this thing's playing, I'm sitting there really rapt, I'm looking at it and stuff, oh God, this is great. And he gets up, he starts kicking the cushions, and he's walking around, he's looking over it, TV's over there, he's looking there, and he's sort of, I'm going, Josh, what's the matter? Watch Dad's highlights. And he turned to me and goes, Dad, didn't you ever used to handball? And he got bored. And then he walked off. I've never seen, like Kevin Bartlett says, I've never seen anyone handball a goal. So I said to him, and he just, he wandered off and disappeared. So I watched it for the next 2 hours. Bloody good highlights. So that's where I sit at the moment. But look, have we got another, look, you can pass this. Yeah, we'll share the mic, and why don't we, I think there's some questions, and then I'm happy to open up the floor and answer some of yours. So thanks so much for listening in.
Thanks a lot. Now, Roger, I actually got on the email earlier this week and sent out and saying, if anybody's got any questions for Peter here, please send them in. I sort of underestimated how popular Peter was. I think Santa's naughty was probably longer. Okay. So I've got some questions here. Some of them have already been answered. So I'm going to start with Cliff. I think Cliff's been wandering around over there. Cliff, he's been a member for the Collingwood Football Club for 53 years. And he's going straight for the hard questions here. He says, who was the best drinker from the 1990 Premiership when you all frequented the tunnel after the game?
Best drinkers, they're all a bit scary, the boys. I never used to, I'll tell you what, Darren Malone used to absolutely slaughter it. He was a beauty and just kept going. He drank like he played, he was just a machine, he just kept going. Dennis Banks was always one I always wanted to miss. Mickey McGuan was a beauty. Mickey, he was like, he was a fish. This guy would just go. He's a country boy, so you know what? You'd have one beer, Mick, and it'll end up 30 beers. It just, and look. And still today, don't worry about it. The guys still have a beer and get together. They just do it a lot differently. And it's still the best way to socialise. Football aside, getting to know someone and sitting down with them and having a chat. It's not the only way to socialise, but at the end of the day, it was a huge part of our, a huge part of our football. It was part of that culture, wasn't it, a little bit back then? But all the boys were pretty good. Gavin Francisco, I know he sort of had his problems of, late. He was another one. He used to get on the Uzo, the boy. He used to stink out the house with the aniseed, but he was a big drinker too. So, and when I say big drinkers, you know, you'd have 10, 12, you know, 14, 15 drinks, but I'll tell you what, when you play at this level, and blokes didn't do it before games, we do it after games, we play on Saturday, and we'd have a beer. Saturday night, go out as a group, go to the tunnel, and the beauty of the tunnel was you didn't have to buy, you get drink cards, you wouldn't have to pay for anything, so, but we'd go there, but more importantly, on the Sunday morning we'd have training, and you'd belt out and do your 5, 6K and sweat it out, and some guys, and I use Darren Malane as an example. I mean, he pants it at a big Saturday night, have a few hours sleep, but he'd be at training and he'd be in the top 3 in the run. So, in such was he played it hard, but he also worked it pretty hard too.
Why I asked that Peter was because Mickey what he was talking about.
Mickey, yeah.
We used to be in the crowd and was his shout. So instead of buying you like a squash, you bring a tray full over.
Yeah. Do you remember that?
I remember it.
Did you ever see me around that? Yeah. Well, I'll tell you what we used to. That's actually. I'm glad you reminded me. That's a little story. We used to have. And sorry, what was your name again? Cliff. Cliff was just saying. I don't know whether we shouted you a drink, but we used to have these big. We didn't buy 1 drink or 2 drinks. We'd buy a tray of drinks. So if I went up to the bar, I'd get 3 trays. From, I don't know. They used to hold about 20 drinks or something. So there were the trays, the empty glasses used to hang in. So when I'd order, I'd go to the bar and go, can I have 3 trays of like the squash? And he'd go, what? Excuse me? I go, 3 trays. You know, see that thing? That's a tray. And I want clean, fresh glasses. And then what we'd get them to do, within that tray of 20, we'd get 5 of them would have a triple shot in there. So then if there was, say, 6 or 7 or 8 of us around, we just plonk them down and then you just grabbed them. And if you just happened to get the triples, that's what you drank. And we just go and go and go. It's really... oh, look, we were young boys and, you know, you think you're bulletproof and it's all part of it, you know. But I will tell you, you know, we boys never fought, you know, like, and we just had some harmless fun and, but more importantly, we ran it off when we had to.
Okay, I've got one from Peter Tuziak up the front here. He'd like to know what it was like to feature in David Williamson's movie The Club. I believe you were fending off Jeff Haywood in a fight scene there once.
Yeah, I was, in that fight scene, just really quickly, he actually needed me in the 3 piece in the duels, so round duels. And I had to try and pretend that, because I had to walk off, because the cameras were still rolling, so I had to pretend like there was nothing wrong, and I sort of walked like I had a thing, you know, sort of, or it shouldn't be. So, but I remember when we were doing that, I just started playing senior footy. It was the start of 1980. And so we were doing it a couple of weeks before the season started. No, it was about 6 weeks before the season. So we did our pre-season, then the season started. Now I'm getting paid. One of the things I really like about it, it's like trying to be a movie star and being on set with Graham Kennedy and all these guys was they were paying us $100. I was only a young kid, I was 17, like $100 was a lot of money for me. I was still at school, so I didn't tell mum and dad I was getting it, but I was getting $100. And just to put it in perspective, I was playing senior footy at Collingwood and I was earning $75 a game. So, and I was doing the filming, we were doing it every day, so $500 a week, which was all, a lot of money considering I was only getting $75 playing a game of footy, so, but it was a lot of fun, these guys behind the scenes, and you get a bit of appreciation of how much time and effort goes into it, even just a 1-minute scene. But I don't know how many times they have to retake things because, if the camera was here, it's sort of, they go, okay, now, just pretend like you've got to do this, but just act natural, and so you walk past the camera close and be going, they go, no, you can't do that, you just walk past the camera like it's not even there, so they walk past and they'd still be glaring, sort of, they go, cut, they do it again, I don't know how many times we had to make a take, but no, it was a lot of fun, it was great to see, do the behind the scenes stuff.
I'm going to say, you kept in better shape than Jeff Haywood. sort of.
I do a little bit. I do a little bit of swimming, and I have to. I had 16 operations. I've had 16 ops on my knees. I had 12 while I was a player, and so I've got no cartilage. It's all bone on bone. So, and if I put on too much weight, you know, the pressure it puts on my joints and my knees is just horrendous. And I had feet problems, so that also. So I've got to keep myself lighter. I mean, thank God it's not a pool party. I'm not. I'm still 10 kilos over where I used to be, but that's life, isn't it? But yeah, so I've got to try and keep a bit of weight off, you know, for that reason.
I've got a question from Leanne Dorr. I'm not sure if she's here today. Oh, Leanne. Do you have any particular piece of football memorabilia from your playing days that's your favourite? One that brings back some good memories?
Look, I'll be honest with the memorabilia. Look, I've kept a lot of stuff, and I gave away a lot of stuff. You know, get mates coming over and you give stuff away for charity, and it all happened before I had my kids. And while you're doing the football, you think it's like a lot of things that you like. You think it's going to be forever, and you probably take it for granted a little bit, but it does change. And you know, I played for Victoria 6 times. I only got one jumper. I gave 5 away to my mates. Gave my footy boots away, you know, so, but a lot of the stuff I have, like I've got my jumper when I played my first game and that first year, Mum kept a lot of those, which is fantastic, and thank God she did, but she kept, the grand final jumper is really important to me, and I still have that, so they're all, I think the grand final jumper is the one that sort of meant a lot to me, and I always used to cut my jumpers, because I used to wear the baggy shorts and have my jumper out all the time, and I just like being loose and feeling less restricted. And with my jumpers, I used to, if you look at any of the old footage, you'll see a little slit there. That's you know it's my Guernsey, because I used to cut, because I used to hate it feeling a bit tighter there. So, but I've got my grand final jumper and all that sort of stuff, and that's probably the most prized piece that I have. And the middle.
We just had somebody walk in. I was just about to ask his question from Matt Komanyowski up the back there, come all the way from Darwin for the match today. He'd like to know, is it true were you getting emergency services called to your house on the night of the 81 grand final?
Yeah, look, I was, you're right, Matt. When we played Carlton in the grand final in 81, I got up in the morning. I remember I lived in Preston, and I actually woke up and went into the house. Now, when I say went into the house, I actually used to have a room, a two-room bungalow out the back of my parents' house. And when I got up, my dad's all red-eyed, and my mum looked like she hadn't slept all night.
Bet she's going to run out.
You know, what's the problem? We've got a grand final today. Just sleep nervous.